So I'll start with prayers. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sorry, 1 second. I am admitting people to the room. And Elizabeth, would you mind muting your microphone? Sorry. Okay. And in Tibetan. Sangye cholam soki choknam la chanchu bardu dagi kapsu chi dagi jinso ki be sonam ki chola penche sangye drupar sho. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering in the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering in the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Manam kadang yambe samchen damje dewa dang dewe gyudang denpar gyoche. Dungang dang dungang ge gyudang dawar gyoche. Dungang mebe dewa dang mi dawar gyoche. Nering chagang yedang gawe tangyam la nepar gyoche. And are we going for half an hour or an hour today? Let's stop with prayers for now or keep going? Okay, we'll do the next ones. Mandala offering. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned by Mount Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and the sun and the moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all living beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Sashi Pujo Jungshi Meto Tram Rira Linji Nide Gambadi Sange Jindu Mingde Buwayi Joko Namda Shinla Chopasho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamya Yadayami. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capacities of living beings. Samchen Namki Sampadang Luyi Jeja Jita or Jejo Dunam Depai Choki Kor Long Kor Du So.
Lama Jeno, Jinjin Zabe. Lama Jeno, Maden Lama Kuyo, Mazada, Kaje, Getu Gendo, Debo Tambela, Tujin, Bada, the Bada Medo Jenjong, Bonjumba. Lachen, Dorjen, Jamian Bonjen, Jeno, so on the road to Jesus, and Jello, doesn't yet of the project and yet. Londe Choco Dobra Singelo, Namba the Number Sinja, Tangelo, Chizuano, the Sinja Lavdos, Chulamda, Sinja Lavdos, Lontrama Sabra Sinja Lavdos, Truna Ishis Manchava Sinja Lavdos, Suggestion Bonchok, Udo Tobra Sinja Lavdos, the nation, the Nebragacho, the Tobra Choco, the Bamba. Seneyanda Javagana Jaga Jamada Chavala Chunjin Jasaya Brada Chuden Jato Jason Molan Foundation, do Amendosum, Yeremada Children, Tamanya Dodo, Yamani. To saw you the Madame Honor in jail, the Lord in the Monan to do trouble nation on September, to get it under the Jake of London, the Senana. There's a bunch of Jojo to general the Jabundo Juno to Satan, she Jim and the Jew, the Nekana, and to mind the Gisanda. Rido Corvedo, the Sana, Nilo, Rawo, Joe, Lama, Message Bala, Joja, Southern Jay, Dorje Change, Comba, Norto, Show, San Joseph, Ramboje, Maje, Panam, Chibanya, Bamawai, Kone, Kondo, Bewa. Okay, welcome everyone. Oh, good to see you. So, okay, so now we'll continue studying this the hard advice, 30 pieces of hard advice by the Longchenpa. I think we are in the verses 5, 51. Okay, I'll read first. Songda Punji, Yoju Lasso Ji, Longsu Sabe Nozi Jambul Londe Gewa Chuje Tagiju, Chuje Tagiju, Sheno Gumba Kovin Hindam Yin.
Were we to offer 100 valuable things accumulated through wrong livelihood, based on conducting business, taking interest, deception, and so on, we might attempt to be virtuous, but instead give rise to the 8 worldly dharmas. To meditate on renunciation is my hard advice.
Okay. So now this is this is okay. I think let me speak first, then everybody can speak on this chapter. I think my understanding is this is actually talking about monks and nuns lifestyle. Monks and nuns lifestyle is not really easy, generally speaking, according to the Buddha's teaching, the Vinaya. I think this is his Longchenpa talking about the basis of the whole, the Vinayas, the discipline teaching. It is possible these days few monks live like that way, very simple life. It should be anything, including everything, just food, shelter, clothing, so on, But then of course, the situation is changed. It's not no more like very difficult for them too. And the monasteries as well. Monasteries is supposed to be very whatever they are coming from the donations, the food for the monks, nuns, anybody, they have to be really, really careful according to the Vinayas, teachings. I remember one time my own professor, his name is called Samdon Rinpoche. He gave one talk at the right now with the biggest monastery in Tibetan culture in South India. Thousands monks, nuns there actually. Then he gave this talk about it. As I already mentioned, it has to be really, really mindful. We really don't know yet, Are we creating kind of really positive deeds, positive actions, lifestyle, or we are creating more difficult for the society, more challenge in the societies, So therefore, this one, my understanding about the Longchen Ramjampas, what they're saying is to reminding for the truly practitioner of the monks, nuns, uh, should be involved business, do business and taking advantage from other people's whatever, uh, uh, and then taking kind of different ways for the whatever things from others, Actually, it is supposed to be my understanding about the truly monks, nuns. They have to, according to the Vinaya, they're allowed to have only two things, two clothing, one wearing, one extra, because one has to wash, right? One has to wash, one has to wear it. Once you wear one, and one has to be washed. It's true. Then other things that they are allowed to have is begging bowl. The begging bowl, they're supposed to be, their lifestyle is not from the anything else, only the way to they have to bake for the other people. And they used to be, I'm talking about. There's still some traditional they do, They do. Well, so they once they're begging, there's no allowed to begging expectation from their side. No. They're begging only for the food. Only one time, not all day. That's also only one time. Once the begging ball is enough, then they have to stop it. No more begging. And then they go back to the wherever they're living, the practices, continue, focus the practices, So then what they do is when they're sick, then the monks, nuns, they're supposed to be helping each other. The Buddha did it too, but the long stories. The truly monks and the nuns' lifestyle is not easy here mentioned about the, Longchenpa mentioned is quite very, very difficult, very, very difficult. But the teaching is about the monks, nuns, living life is very simple, positive, very positive, So the whole idea is try to not uh, engage ordinary life, not ordinary materialism, try to abandon, try to avoid as possible, not stuck with the materialism, anything, spiritual, they call sometimes spiritual materialism. There's many of them too, sometimes a lot of happens, monasteries and individuals happens a lot, so many things. Because the early thing is that monasteries pretty much depend on other people, right? Public. So sometimes when we do so many things, it really causes for the challenges for the other people, so many things. So therefore, as the monks, my understanding, monks' nuns' life is not so easy. But then many of challenge, but many of do it sometimes, very, very, we don't know, we cannot, Uh, and as speaking my own experience, and this is talking about the generally is amongst nuns, my understanding. But then this is can be bring into our ordinary life, like us, ordinary life, like a lifestyle. Lifestyle is there is many lifestyles very kind of difficult. Way of living life is quite a bit challenges, difficult. Living life is very simple. That is the hardest one, actually. Really, really difficult. Hardest one. You know, living life, whatever. It's very simple and have more kind of meaningful. Have more time for to benefit others, practice the spiritual things. According to the spiritual point of view. Or so lots of the lifestyle we have. It's quite a bit the harming self and others too. Where we do sometimes not enough mindfulness. So therefore, we can take from this advice from this Longchenpa's also, so yeah. So then the most difficult part for me understanding about this simplicity. It's difficult, really not easy to be for myself, as simplicity of my own everyday life, whatever I do, even myself or in front of the people, or in front of whatever the friends. Simplicity is quite a bit challenge, Um, so so therefore, the general speaking for everyone is has to be, because it has all the related with the karma there actually, everything has a karma there, positive karmas and negative karmas, karmic consequences there. So therefore, the 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 Longchenpa was talking about. Uh, so therefore, uh, those great practitioners, truly practitioners, they are very, 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 very mindful. Very mindful. So let me speak. Let me stop here speaking. Like to your turn. Anybody else?
Peter, do you want to join in and have any thoughts?
Hi, good to see you all again. Uh, been thinking about you a lot, Lama and Katie, and uh, so this is sort of a good one for me. So after I came back from Nepal, after spending some wonderful time with Lama and Katie and a group of practitioners and well, when we were together, it was so easy. So it seems sort of easy. We were staying in a really nice place, and we had really nice food, and we had wonderful. Katie made so sure that we got to where we were going with the greatest of ease on our part, and we went through a revolution and and then we did I went to Milarepa's cave and kind of now I'm here, I'm back. And the day I came back, I came down with COVID the day before I left. So I've been sick for the last 11 days or something and haven't been able to do much and been really contemplating, uh, how to integrate what I learned and uh, what I learned, I think, while I was, you know, on that trip, and um, And it sort of goes along with, so I'm back and I tried to do some good things while I was there, help some people somehow. I mean, that's our, sort of our vow to, Bodhisattva vow, attain enlightenment, but to benefit other beings while we're doing it, and after we've hopefully had some realization to help other beings. And I'm trying to figure out what does that look like in these two. I'm in culture shock. I think I was gone for long enough that I come back, and how am I getting this together? And so this whole idea of having some kind of right livelihood. I think I've tried to do that in my lifetime. I've tried to keep simple jobs and be honest with the people that I work with. And I think that's part of it, is being honest and truthful and caring. And even though it's not a job that we might like at the moment, for me, I have to keep like, oh, I hate this job. I've been doing this for so long. How can I turn it around, and make sure that I'm benefiting the people that I'm, they're depending on me through my business of running a banquet, making people happy with their food and their meeting and all that kind of stuff. And, I wondered, how am I going to do that now? I'm sort of retired. And I wondered what the 8 worldly dharmas were. I had to look it up, and it is gain and loss, fame and disgrace, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. Um, I don't know what to say about that. I feel like when I know for me, like every once in a while, I'm at work and I'll have to say a little lie to somebody because of the situation at work, like, oh, we don't have this certain kind of food because the chef doesn't want to make it, or or oh, the air conditioning isn't working because of some, because the hotel's too lazy to fix it, or it's too old, or whatever. All these things come up. So to try to I think based on conducting business, taking interest, deception, and taking interest, I'm assuming means like usury, like, lending somebody money and charging them interest or something like that. And deceiving people, and just trying not to do that. It makes life simpler, really. You don't have to keep track of your lies. And in the long run, hopefully we can make people happy. And so meditate on renunciation, but I guess that has to go along with keeping, like Lama said, keeping it simple. Um, I think everybody's getting sick, huh, Lama? um, I know a bunch of people have COVID right now. Well, I gave it to my partner. uh, I feel so bad. I got on an airplane not knowing I had COVID, so I spread it all over the place. I'm a super spreader, that I used to say back in the day. Uh, so how can I, make up for that? I don't know exactly. So the idea of karma, like you were saying, it's like uh, trying to do good things and not do bad things. And so by renunciation, giving up things that aren't really important to my, like what's I don't know. That's hard to say, At the same time, trying to live life, and be happy myself, and to some amount of extent, and what does that mean? This is a big topic, isn't it? Uh, it's a huge, huge topic, I think. And what does it mean to renunciation and meditate on it? It doesn't say, it actually doesn't say give everything up. It says meditate on it. So what is important and what's not important? What should I take on and what should I give up? And so that's what I'm seeing there is that meditate on it and look inside, inside. Don't look outside to be, have this fame and name or to have be praised all the time or have, gain, whatever that may be, financial or whatever, and have pleasure all the time. It's a balance. I think it becomes in the end, maybe for me, anyways, too, like balance. I don't think we're here to, I think we suffer while we're here, but I don't think we're here to suffer. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just talking. So thank you for listening. And I'll let somebody else talk. Thank you so much. So happy to be here again.
It's nice to see you too, Peter. Thank you. Rich?
Hi. Yeah, I think Peter's absolutely right. This is seems like a very huge topic, and I'm constantly trying to think how karma, is embroiled with all these ideas and, how our previous karma, makes it so much easier to create karma or harder. I think for most Westerners, it probably means our karmas have led us to a place that allows us to create more karma. And this really strikes me, this idea of accumulating valuable things, right? And in the capitalistic society, right, we're doing what we're doing to make money. And, whether the work we're doing is virtuous or not, we're spending that money, right? And, to be on this call, I'm burning electricity, right? And paying my electric bill, and that money's going out to someone, I have no idea what percentage of the people employed by the electrical company are virtuous. And it just really, and the same could be said with everything we're spending money on, right? And the more we're spending our money on, the more opportunity there is to create karma, either good karma or bad karma. It's creating some sort of karma, which is, I guess, either way, not necessarily the goal. So the major piece here is, renunciation. And Lama, as you talk about this more simplistic livelihood, it does remind me, the importance of renunciation, or makes me consider. That's something I haven't really made great strides in with my practice yet. But it seems like the more we give up, the more simple we would streamline our lives, the more simple maybe it becomes to make those decisions about is my money being spent on a virtuous activity or non-virtuous?
I think Rich might have accidentally disconnected, so we'll come back. He might jump right back on, but if not, then we'll move on to the next thoughts. Yeah, let's go ahead and see if Elizabeth has any thoughts.
Elizabeth, yeah, Elizabeth.
I guess when you have pride, you're feeding a sense of self. Maybe you even create self. No, you don't create self through pride. So the point of Buddhism to me is no self. So no self means there's nothing to attach or adverse to. If you have you're building self. I'm proud I did that, and I'm proud, and I'm too proud to do this. And it goes on the pride list. I'm proud to do this. I'm not, and I'm too proud not to do this. And doesn't everybody love me and all this stuff? And that's all me. That's all me oriented. So you do want to have a few you want to have a few aspirations, because if you don't, there's a lot of clinging that goes with that. You know, I basically, my whole world was turned around. I lost my husband. He died of cancer, lung cancer, on a Tuesday. And then I went into COVID lockdown on a Friday. And I lost my home. I just all kinds of things. Like I had this tomato plant and it was doing very nicely, and every day or so I'd go out and pick tomatoes. And I said to myself, this could go on for until the end of the month. It was October. That night it snowed and killed the whole plant. And my whole life is like that. I'm saying, oh, my life is upturned. At least I can go to the grocery store. I go all the time. They always have the food in the same rows. I go. It was all changed around. Even a woman said, I'm unhappy they changed the store around. And I was like, and everything was like that. I had to live with this couple for 2 years because I had no home. There's a longer story than that. I lost myself a sense of safety because a gang started chasing me. That's a long story I don't want to get into. And then I started fighting with Lama. And so I went to myself, what is this teaching me? And it's teaching me to kind of not attach yourself to things, and not to, and I really think it did teach me not to expect anything, like not be ungrateful if it happens, but don't expect anything. That's what I learned. So I feel it was my whole life is some sort of Dharma lesson. Where I used to live, it was it two? Yeah, it was 2 stories. It was huge. Now I live in 1 room. I kind of felt, and I still feel the same way, that all I have is the Dharma, because everything I tried to attach myself to just kind of disappeared. And so I figured, that's what I figured. Everything I try to attach myself disappears. So all I have left is the Dharma. I think I have very few aspirations. I don't know. But I know that when you have pride, you feed a sense of self. And Buddhism is the opposite, no self. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Rich, I think we lost you there. Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No, I apologize. I meant to mute myself so I could cough and then ended up leaving the meeting. But no, I'm just taking in Elizabeth's story. And no, I don't really, I mean, the last part I was gonna say, which I think sounds a little bit like what Elizabeth was saying, and tying it in with this idea of, well, like the having to beg for food. And um, I was on retreat last week, and just, just it was nice to have an opportunity to settle myself down. But, I just kept recognizing my ego rising. And, I spoke to my teacher about it. And, um, I was just imagining how having to beg for food or beg for anything, or, reach out and ask for things we're not used to asking for, how not that I wish that anyone would need to do that, but how it can be beneficial in the eroding of the ego and attachment, and attachment to physical things, or pride, like Elizabeth mentioned. Yeah, that's all. Just a very thought provoking passage there, and I appreciate everyone's time and everyone listening. Thank you.
Anything else from you, Lama?
You have thought?
Well, everyone's shared such good things. I'm not sure what I have to add. I just was kind of reading this passage and thinking about I think one thing we're getting at is like the deeper layers of any action that may appear on the surface to be virtuous. So it's talking about, making offerings, and isn't making offerings in theory quite virtuous. However, what this passage is suggesting, that we need to consider where our funding might be coming from, and perhaps it's more beneficial, or it is more beneficial. We have to consider, before even making any offering, what am I doing with my life? What is what's happening on a mind training level? So based on conducting business or taking interest in deception and these kinds of things, let's address those things first, to create a mind that is virtuous, rather than an outer appearance that seems virtuous. And so I think about this sometimes in relation to work, and even considering this idea about begging, right? We know folks who are engaged in monastic life. Their part of their role is to have a begging bowl, and what do we do in our world? How do we consider our work? We need a certain amount to be able to survive, and that's this simple living. But then also, in any given moment, we can consider, how much do I think I need versus how much do I really need, and what is a fairly comfortable lifestyle. What's the benefit of, for example, having an air conditioner or not when it's like 85 degrees, you know, like I can survive just fine, you know. Maybe I would like to have these other comforts and these kinds of things, right? Like, and it's an interesting contemplation to engage in, because we do, and I'm sure we've all experienced this, we expand our capacity for being able to manage different and difficult circumstances in our lives the more we can tolerate a reasonable amount of discomfort. That's not to say we need to just up and like go live in a tent out somewhere, but that sometimes we can do more with less, and that gives us an opportunity to expand our capacity internally rather than just always leaning in towards whatever that external answer might be to our sense of okayness or comfort. So I think about that sometimes as I'm going about my day and engaging in the world. You know, I could take a taxi to a venue where we're going to receive these teachings, and it's not a great hardship. It's, you know, $3 or something like that. But I could walk, and there's so many benefits in walking, just innumerable benefits. And so we walk, and that's lovely. So this kind of thing, right, is a consideration to bring into our daily life as I'm reading. So thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everyone's your own wonderful thought. That is the whole our discussion all about this. You know, it's wonderful too. Rather than my own speaking something, I think now it's yeah, the monks' nuns lifestyle is quite a bit. As I mentioned, it's not easy really. You know, but now the whoever general speaking, all the general in life is not sometimes not easy either. Sometimes not only the monks, but I think as the mind training point of view, it is. I think we have to be kind of practicing kind of balance as possible. You know, not too much, not too less. You know, according to our own situations. You know, and sometimes too much, and then it is quite a bit challenge. So which is too much is come from what which is, and everybody speak actually, which is Elizabeth speaking about that our own expectations sometimes, you know. So that makes us sometimes little challenges there, you know. So therefore there has to let it go, the expectations, and then dealing with the according to whatever we can, you know.
I think I'm also thinking that things that gave me pride, like having a husband, having a nice home, having a car, having a center down the street from where I live, those all just evaporated. Having a sense of, and so I couldn't, the things that gave me pride, a sense of safety, were gone. And then I just really had to look at, you know, here and now, I guess. I don't know how to explain it.
Yes. Looking as a true practitioner point of view, as their own perspective. And then, of course, when they have more and more, and then they're so much relying on those things. So then they get really distracted by their things they have, and then there's no time for actual practices, practice or meditation or study or meditation, whatever they do, then it becomes a kind of causes, kind of disturbance in them, So that's for the, we need it, no problem. I mean, there's no doubt. We need it, whatever it is necessary for in our life, whatever according to the, there is no doubt. And not too much, then it's difficult. Very less, then it's also a problem, So we have to see where to go, individually. Individually to practice, like for example, for materialism in the life, and not having is quite a big challenge. And too much, then it's a problem, So there is a kind of, we need a kind of balance to be practiced, to have something enough. And then we have to say, individually to train mind says, oh, this is enough now, So otherwise the materialism never going to be stopped us to be enough, It's going to be more and more, wanted to think one and then think another one, Things another one and things another one. That is the way it is in the materialism or in our expectation, the desires, never ends. So point is that really the lifestyle has to be kind of really simple as possible, Many ways, there's many ways to practice, but not easy. So once you sick, then it's quite a bit challenge, And sickness situation is different, Really totally again, When you are sick, then probably we can handle it, whatever, things there. Not much difficulty. Once we sick, then quite a bit, so a bit challenge, to so many things rely on these things, different companies, or things like that. So, yeah, sometimes the most important for me, not too much spending my life, talking about especially my own personal life, not only materialism, or something like that. It doesn't make sense with my personal, really. Some materialism necessary comfort, in order to have a comfortable, pretty sure that is necessary. But sometimes it's too much, then it's very difficult. Because I notice it just also makes lots of distraction about which I'm trying to focus for my own practice and meditation and study to learning and whatever. It makes kind of a little bit too much, So then I have to think, if that is not happening, then I have to be more careful, what I'm doing here. So, but other than, I think it's quite a big challenge, the lives we have to have in life. So, but not too much spending time there only for those things. A little bit more spending for the inner inner happiness, inner peace, and have a more mind be happy, or be relaxed, be peace as possible, And then one thing I noticed myself, how much we have it, it doesn't make us not much differences, It doesn't make us so happy. It makes us only way to be more and more and more, more, If I have one comfortable house and I want to be more one comfortable house, something like that, It's like the same thing as a food every day, When you have one food, then you want to be the next day again, one precious of food, That is very challenging. Very challenging. If you have a good income, then it's no problem. If you don't have income, then you want to be next food is very delicious. It costs a lot of money to pay, Then it is suffering there. So I noticed myself too. So the most important part is the healthy, or whatever makes us healthy individually, It's not about the food or something, Individually health situations that makes us healthy, I think so. We needed a kind of balance in the spiritual and the materialism, I think it makes us much more easy life. So that's what I can say. I think so. Okay, so now we have a better conclusion. The dedication prayer. So
for dedications, aspirations. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience in Samantavajra too, all these merits now I dedicate to train and follow in your footsteps. Champa Pavo Jita Kyampa Dang Kuntu Sampo Deyang Dejinte De Dag Kungi Jesu Dag Lob Chikewa De Dag Tamche Raptu Mo. May I never in any lifetime be separate from the authentic Lama and always enjoy the splendor of the Dharma. Perfecting the qualities of the paths and levels of realization, may I swiftly attain the state of Vajradhara. Kewa kuntu yamda lama dam tomi chuki bala lanchote sadang lamgi yontem ramzote dorje changi gopang yerto sho. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, violence and samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn may it rise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. Jangchup sabjo rinpoche, make panam kekyo che kepa nyampa me pa ya, gome gongdu kawa sho. For this realm, encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, who are one with Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfast until samsara's end. Single source of benefit and happiness, may the teachings long remain, and may the lives of those who hold these teachings be stable like a victory banner. Pendejawene chipo, tempa yure me padam, tempa shimpe kebono, putse gyatsen tenyo chi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, next week, see you again. Yeah.
See you next
See you next week.
Thank you.